First, I want to congratulate Zimtrade for hosting this forum. It's long overdue. In light of the phenomenal growth of trade links between Zimbabwe and China, and also in light of the big investments which China has been pushing into Zimbabwe, they have now become probably the single source of foreign direct investment in Zimbabwe. We are also happy to see the room full of Zimbabwean businessmen who are clearly taking advantage of the very cordial relations between Zimbabwe and China. China is the trading partner number one or number two of more than 100 countries. They are a big market, 1.4 billion people, and it's a good thing that the Zimbabwean public is beginning to become aware of China as a big importer of all sorts of goods and services which Zimbabwe can provide. Tremendous progress is being made in the horticultural sector and also in exporting other agricultural produce to China. This is a new dimension to our trade which is going beyond the traditional tobacco industry. You know, China has always been the biggest importer of Zimbabwean tobacco and also the biggest investor in the Zimbabwean tobacco industry, which affects a lot of small to medium enterprise farmers in Mashonaland West, Mashonaland Central, and Mashonaland East. So China is providing livelihood for thousands of Zimbabwean farmers in the tobacco sector, and this investment is now being upgraded to where there's more beneficiation in the tobacco sector. Actually, there is a Chinese company which is investing now to make Zimbabwe the biggest nicotine and cannabis producer in the world. This is a new industry, and there's going to be up $500 million worth of investment in that sector, making Zimbabwe a world-class center for the production of cannabis and nicotine. We are also looking at the raw material, which is the manganese steel. It's a raw material for manufacturing. You know what? Food is vital for human beings. Steel is indispensable for national development. What food is to human beings, steel is to countries. And Zimbabwe is now blessed with the largest and most modern steel plant at Manise, which is challenging even South African steel industry. We are looking at beneficiation of the steel sector so that Zimbabwe can become a net exporter of all sorts of steel widgets to the African continent. So steel is going to create a lot of SME steel workers, steel players, and artisans of all hue and cry to supply the African continent with much needed steel products for the African development. Africa's steel consumption is growing at 20% an annum. This is the measure of the new energy which Africa is gathering. And to see Zimbabwe become poised to take advantage of that market is a wonderful thing. I think our president had foresight, and now there's a conspiracy of virtues to make sure that Zimbabwe takes advantage of these new developments in the steel sector. Then there's also China's engagement in infrastructure development. We have heard what is going on in the energy sector, Waka 7 and 8. But there's also now the prospect of joining Manise steel plant to the ports in Beira with new railway lines. So we are going to see multi-billion-dollar investments in the infrastructure sector of ports, railways, roads, and logistics, land-linked Zimbabwe to the ocean-going ports of Mozambique. We also are looking at telecommunications to support this infrastructure, the internet, and the other area which we need to look at is the new energy electric vehicle sector, where Zimbabwe, because of its lithium industry and its beneficiation, we have become part of the global value chain in the lithium storage batteries. This is we have two parks, one which is at Mapise in Zimbabwe, and the other one probably in Mozambique, which will also be producing batteries. So we are going to have a situation where what fossil fuel is to Saudi Arabia, Zimbabwe is going to become the new energy electric vehicle sector supplier for Zimbabwe. We are expecting world-class investment in the lithium storage battery sector in order to migrate the world from fossil fuels to new energy electric vehicle mobility.